Treated as invisible at the gala, she walked away with grace, without knowing the Mafia boss was watching. The chandelier above casts 1,000 shards of light across the marble floor, and I stand at the edge of it all, holding a glass of champagne I have not touched. The bubbles rise slowly, endlessly, and I watch them because watching them is easier than watching the people who refuse to see me. My name is Eleanor Price. Tonight, I am wearing a dress I saved 3 months to buy. Deep emerald, green falling just above my ankles, simple but elegant. I thought it would be enough. I thought if I looked the part, if I stood straight and smiled warmly, someone would notice. Someone would acknowledge that I belong here just as much as anyone else. I was wrong. The Hartwell Foundation Gala is the most prestigious charity event in New York. Politicians, celebrities, old money, and new power gather beneath these crystal lights to write checks and make promises. I am here because I work for them. I manage donor relations for the foundation, coordinating gifts and ensuring that every wealthy name receives personal attention. I know their birthdays, their children's names, their preferred wines. I have spent 2 years building relationships that exist only on paper and in polite emails. But tonight, standing among them in person, I realize the truth. To them, I am furniture. I am the woman who answers phones and sends thank you cards. I am not someone they need to acknowledge. Woman in a red gown brushes past me without a word, her perfume sharp and expensive. A man in a tailored suit steps around me as if I am a pillar he must navigate. I smile anyway, because that is what I have learned to do. Smile. Be pleasant. Do not let them see that it hurts. My supervisor, Patricia Caldwell, stands near the grand staircase, laughing with a group of donors. She is radiant in her silver dress, her jewelry catching the light with every gesture. She has not looked at me once this evening. When I arrived, she nodded vaguely in my direction and turned away. I organized this event. I confirmed every guest, arranged every table, ensured every detail was perfect. But Patricia will receive the credit, and I will return to my small apartment alone. I take a breath and move toward the terrace doors. The night air will be cold, but I need it. I need to feel something other than this quiet humiliation. The terrace is empty when I step outside. Below, the city stretches in every direction, lights glittering like fallen stars. I set my untouched champagne on the stone railing and close my eyes. The wind lifts my hair, and for a moment I can pretend I am somewhere else. Someone else. I am 28 years old. I have a degree in communications from a university I am still paying for. I have an apartment the size of a closet and a cat named Darcy, who is probably asleep on my pillow right now. I have worked hard for everything I have, which is not much, but it is mine. And yet, standing here tonight, I feel smaller than I have ever felt. When I open my eyes, I see him. He stands at the far end of the terrace, half hidden in shadow. I did not notice him when I came outside, but now I cannot look away. He is tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a black suit that fits him like armor. His hair is dark, swept back from a face that seems carved from stone. There is something about him that makes the air feel different, heavier, electric. He is watching me, not glancing, not passing his gaze over me on the way to something more interesting. He is watching me with an intensity that makes my breath catch. His eyes are pale, grey perhaps, though I cannot be certain in this light. They hold mine for a long moment, and I feel exposed in a way I cannot explain. I should look away, I should go back inside, but something keeps me frozen, pinned by his stare like a butterfly under glass. Then he moves. He walks toward me with the kind of slow, deliberate confidence that suggests he has never rushed for anything in his life. Each step is measured, controlled. When he stops, he is close enough that I can see the faint scar that runs along his jaw, the way his eyes are indeed grey, the color of winter storms. "You look like you would rather be anywhere else," he says. His voice is low, smooth, with an accent I cannot place. Something European, perhaps. Something that makes every word feel like a secret. "Is it that obvious?" I hear myself say. Only to someone. Paying attention? I do not know how to respond to that. No one has paid attention to me all night. No one except this stranger who appeared from the shadows like something out of a dream. I needed air, I say finally. It was getting crowded inside. Crowded, he repeats, and there is something in his tone that suggests he understands exactly what I mean, not the physical presence of bodies, but the weight of being overlooked, the exhaustion of trying to matter. Who are you? I ask, because I cannot help myself. I know every donor on the foundation's list. I know every face that was supposed to be here tonight. I do not know his. He tilts his head slightly, studying me. Does it matter? You are at a charity gala. You must be someone. Everyone is someone. The question is whether anyone cares to notice. The words land like a blow, soft but precise. He has seen it too then, the way these people move through their glittering world, blind to anyone who does not reflect their own light. I am Eleanor, I say, extending my hand before I can think better of it. He takes it. His grip is firm, his palm warm against my cold fingers. Dominic. Just Dominic. For now. He releases my hand, but he does not step back. He remains close enough that I can smell his cologne, something dark and rich like cedar and smoke. I should be uncomfortable. I should make an excuse and return to the safety of the crowd inside. But I do not move. Why are you out here alone? I ask. You do not seem like the type to hide. I am not hiding, I am observing. Observing what? His gaze holds mine. Everything, everyone. The way people reveal themselves when they think no one is watching. And what have you observed about me? For a moment he says nothing. Then slowly the corner of his mouth lifts. It is not quite a smile, but it is close. You are too good for this room, and you know it. That is why you left. The words strike something deep inside me, something I have tried to bury beneath years of politeness and patience. I feel my eyes sting and I look away quickly, blinking hard. I should go back inside, I say. My voice sounds strange to my own ears, thin, fragile. Should you? I work for the foundation. I have responsibilities. You have already fulfilled them. The event is running smoothly. No one will notice if you stay out here a little longer. How do you know that? Because they have not noticed you all night. Why would they start now? It should hurt, hearing it stated so plainly. But somehow coming from him, it does not. He is not being cruel. He is simply telling the truth that everyone else has been too polite or too indifferent to speak. You noticed, I say quietly. Yes. Why? He is silent for a long moment. When he speaks, his voice is softer than before. Because you walked through that room like you were carrying something heavy. Everyone else was performing. You were surviving. I do not know what to say. I do not know how this stranger can see me so clearly when everyone I have worked beside for 2 years cannot see me at all. The terrace doors open behind us, and I hear laughter spilling out from inside. The moment breaks. I take a step back, suddenly aware of how close we have been standing, how long we have been talking. I should go, I say again, and this time I mean it. Dominic nods slowly. Then go. But, Eleanor. I pause, halfway turned toward the doors. Do not let them make you small. You deserve to take up space. I do not respond, I cannot. I simply walk back inside, my heart pounding in a way that has nothing to do with fear. The rest of the evening passes in a blur. I smile at the right people, nod at the right moments, and count the minutes until I can leave. Patricia makes a speech thanking everyone for their generosity. She does not mention my name. No one does. At 11 o'clock, I slip out through a side entrance and walk to the subway. The streets are quiet, the cold, biting through my thin coat. I replay the conversation on the terrace over and over, trying to understand why it affected me so deeply. A stranger told me I deserved to take up space, and somehow, that single sentence felt more meaningful than 2 years of performance reviews and polite acknowledgements. I do not know who Dominic is. I do not know why he was watching me, or why he chose to speak to me. but I cannot shake the feeling that something has shifted, that tonight was the beginning of something I do not yet understand. When I reach my apartment, Darcy is waiting by the door, meowing his displeasure at my late arrival. I pick him up and hold him close, burying my face in his fur. "I met someone," I whisper to him. "I do not know what it means." Darcy purrs, unimpressed by my confession. I set him down and move to the window, looking out at the city lights below. Somewhere out there, in one of those glittering towers, Dominic is probably doing the same thing. Or maybe he has already forgotten me. Maybe I was just a momentary distraction, a woman on a terrace who looked sad. But I do not think so. The way he looked at me, the way he spoke, there was intention behind it. Purpose. And I cannot help but wonder what that purpose might be. I change out of my dress and hang it carefully in the closet. I wash my face and brush my teeth and go through all the motions of a normal night. But when I finally lie down in bed, sleep does not come. I keep seeing his eyes, grey like storms, like steel, like something that could cut through every wall I have built around myself. Treated as invisible at the gala, I walked away with grace. But I did not walk away unchanged, and somewhere in the city, the man who watched me is waiting. Check if you are already subscribed to this channel. These stories are crafted to make you feel seen, understood, and moved. If you have ever felt invisible, this is the place where your emotions matter. Subscribe now and become part of a community that believes in the power of stories to heal and transform. 3 days pass. I return to work. I answer emails and coordinate meetings and pretend that nothing has changed. Patricia thanks me for my work on the gala, briefly and without eye contact, before moving on to discuss the next event. I nod and smile and take notes like the professional I am supposed to be. But something has changed. I feel it in the way I carry myself, in the questions I ask myself late at night. Do I deserve to take up space? Have I been making myself small without realizing it? The stranger's words echo through my mind, like a song I cannot forget. On Thursday afternoon, a delivery arrives at my desk. A single white rose in a crystal vase, accompanied by a small envelope. My co-worker, Jennifer, leans over with raised eyebrows. "Secret admirer?" "I doubt it," I say, but my hands tremble slightly as I open the envelope. The card inside contains only 2 words, written in elegant script. Take, space. There is no signature, no name, but I know immediately who sent it. I spend the rest of the day trying to focus on my work, but my thoughts keep drifting to Dominic. Who is he? How did he know where I work? And why is he reaching out to me now, days after our brief conversation on the terrace? That evening, as I am leaving the office, my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. There is a restaurant on Madison and 53rd called Lucia. Meet me there at 8. Come if you are curious. Stay home if you are afraid. I stare at the message for a long moment. Every logical part of my brain tells me not to go. I do not know this man. I do not know what he wants. Meeting a stranger at night in a city like New York is the kind of decision that ends badly in every cautionary tale I have ever heard. But there is another part of me, a part that has been quiet for too long, that wants to know, that needs to understand why this man saw me when no one else did. I go home. I change into a simple black dress, nothing fancy, just something that makes me feel like myself. I feed Darcy, tell him not to wait up, and call a car to take me to Madison Avenue. Lucia is not what I expected. From the outside, it looks like any other upscale Italian restaurant, all warm lighting and white tablecloths. But when I step inside, I realize it is something more. The host greets me by name before I can introduce myself and leads me through the main dining room to a private area in the back. Dominic is already there, seated at a table near the window. He rises when he sees me, and once again I am struck by his presence. He fills the room simply by existing in it. "You came," he says. "I was curious." "Not afraid?" "A little," I admit. But curiosity won. He gestures to the chair across from him, and I sit. A waiter appears immediately, pouring water into crystal glasses, presenting menus with silent efficiency. When he leaves, Dominic watches me with That same intensity I remember from the terrace. "You are wondering who I am," he says. "It is not a question." "Among other things." "Ask." I take a breath. "The gala." "You were not on the guest list." I checked. "No, I was not." "Then how did you get in?" "The same way I get in anywhere, by making it clear that no one should stop me." It is an arrogant statement, but there is no arrogance in his tone. He is simply stating a fact, and somehow I believe him. "What do you do?" I ask. "What is your business?" "I have many businesses. Real estate, import and export, investments." That is vague. It is honest. The details would take longer than one dinner to explain. I study his face, looking for deception, but I find only calm certainty. Whatever Dominic does, he does it with complete confidence in himself. "Why did you invite me here?" "Because I cannot stop thinking about you." The directness of it catches me off guard. I feel heat rise to my cheeks and look down at the table, suddenly unable to meet his eyes. That is a bold thing to say to someone you barely know. I prefer honesty to games. Life is too short for pretending. When I look up again, he is still watching me, waiting for my response. There is no pressure in his gaze, only patience. He will wait as long as it takes for me to decide what I want. "Tell me something true," I say finally. "Something that matters." He considers the question for a moment. Then he leans back in his chair, and something in his expression shifts, softens. "My mother died when I was 12. She was the only person in my life who made me feel safe. When she was gone, I promised myself I would never be powerless again. Every decision I have made since then has been about control, about ensuring that no one can take from me what I am not willing to give." The confession hangs in the air between us, heavy and raw. I did not expect him to answer so honestly. I did not expect him to answer at all. "I am sorry," I say quietly. "About your mother. It was a long time ago, but some losses never fully heal." "No, they do not." He tilts his head, studying me. "You understand that. It is not a question. He has seen something in me, just as I have seen something in him. Two people shaped by absence, building walls to protect themselves from more pain. My father left when I was 8, I hear myself say. One morning he was there, the next he was gone. No note, no explanation. My mother never recovered. She worked herself into exhaustion trying to provide for us. And when I was 16, her heart gave out. I have been on my own ever since." I do not know why I am telling him this. I have not spoken about my parents in years, but something about this moment, this man, makes the words pour out of me like water through a broken dam. "You built yourself from nothing," Dominic says, "and you did it alone." I did not have a choice. There is always a choice. You could have given up. You could have become bitter, resentful, closed. Instead, you kept your heart open. That takes courage. Tears prick at my eyes and I blink them back. I will not cry in front of this stranger who sees me too clearly. "Why me?" I ask. "Of all the people at that gala, why did you notice me?" "Because you were the only real person in the room. Everyone else was performing. You were simply existing, trying to survive. I recognized it because I used to be the same." "Used to be?" "I have learned to perform when necessary. But I never forget what is real." The waiter returns with our food, breaking the intensity of the moment. We eat in comfortable silence, and I discover that despite my nerves, I am hungry. The pasta is perfect, the wine smooth and warm. When we finish, Dominic insists on paying. I do not argue. Something tells me that refusing would only prolong the discussion, and I am too tired for debates. Outside, the night is cold and clear. Stars are invisible behind the city lights, but I look up anyway, searching for them out of habit. "Let me drive you home," Dominic says. "I can take a car." "I know you can. I am asking if you will let me." I consider refusing. I consider maintaining my boundaries, protecting myself from whatever this is. But I do not want to. For the first time in years, I want to let someone in. Okay, I say. His car is waiting at the curb, black and sleek and expensive. A driver opens the door for us, and I slide into the leather interior, acutely aware of how close. Dominic is beside me. The drive to my apartment is quiet. He does not try to fill the silence with small talk, and I am grateful. When we arrive, he walks me to the door of my building. Thank you for tonight, I say. I did not expect... What? Any of this. He smiles, and it transforms his face. For a moment, the hardness falls away, and I see the boy he must have been before loss made him sharp. Neither did I, he says, but I am glad you came. He does not try to kiss me. He does not ask to come inside. He simply takes my hand, presses his lips to my knuckles in a gesture that feels almost old-fashioned, and steps back. Good night, Eleanor. Good night, Dominic. I watch him return to his car, watch the taillights disappear around the corner. Then I go inside, climb the stairs to my apartment, and let myself in. Darcy meows reproachfully from his spot on the couch. I sink down beside him and pull him into my lap. I think I am in trouble, I whisper. He purrs, as if to say he already knew. Over the next week, Dominic and I fall into a rhythm. He texts me in the mornings, simple messages that make me smile. How did you sleep? I am thinking of you. Have a good day. In the evenings we meet for dinner, or coffee, or walks through Central Park as the autumn leaves fall around us. He tells me about his childhood in Italy, the small village where he was born, the grandmother who raised him after his mother died. He tells me about building his empire from nothing, about the sacrifices he made, and the enemies he created along the way. He does not hide from the darker parts of his past, though he does not dwell on them either. He speaks of them as facts, choices made in pursuit of survival. I tell him about my own journey, working multiple jobs to put myself through college, the loneliness of having no family to celebrate milestones with, the way I have learned to find comfort in small things, a good book, a cup of tea, Darcy's warm weight on my lap. We are two people who should have nothing in common, and yet we understand each other in ways that defy logic. He sees through my walls as if they were made of glass. I see through his as if they were made of smoke. But there are things he does not tell me, things I begin to notice as the days pass, the way his phone buzzes constantly, and he excuses himself to take calls in private. The men who seem to appear wherever we go, watching from a distance, never approaching, but always present. The deference that waiters and hotel staff show him, not the polite respect given to wealthy customers, but something closer to fear. I do not ask about these things, not yet. I tell myself that everyone has secrets, that I have no right to demand transparency from a man I have known only a few weeks, but the questions grow louder in my mind, and I know that eventually I will have to face them. One evening, we are walking along the Hudson River when Dominic stops suddenly. His expression changes, hardens, and he pulls me gently but firmly to the side. What is it? I ask. We need to leave now. Before I can respond, a black car pulls up beside us. The door opens, and Dominic guides me inside with a hand on the small of my back. Seconds later, we are speeding through the city, the driver navigating turns with practiced efficiency. Dominic, what is happening? He does not answer immediately. His jaw is tight, his eyes scanning the streets through the tinted windows. When he finally speaks, his voice is controlled but urgent. There are people who do not appreciate my presence in this city. Sometimes they make their displeasure known. What kind of people? The kind who believe violence is a reasonable negotiation tactic. My heart pounds against my ribs. I have suspected, of course. The pieces have been there all along, waiting for me to assemble them, but hearing it stated so plainly makes it real in a way that suspicion never could. Are you involved in illegal things? He meets my eyes then, and I see something like resignation in his gaze. I am involved in many things, Eleanor. Some of them exist in grey areas, some of them do not. That is not an answer. It is the only answer I can give you right now. When we are safe, I will tell you everything. But at this moment, I need you to trust me. Trust. Such a simple word for such a complicated request. This man is asking me to place my life in his hands, to believe that he will protect me from dangers I do not fully understand. But when I look at him, I do not see a threat. I see the man who told me I deserve to take up space, the man who held my hand and listened to my stories, the man who has made me feel seen for the first time in years. I trust you, I say. Relief flickers across his face, quickly masked by determination. He takes my hand and holds it tightly as the car races through the night. We end up at a building I do not recognize, a sleek high-rise in a part of the city I rarely visit. Dominic leads me through a private entrance, past security guards who nod without question, into an elevator that requires a key card to operate. The apartment at the top is enormous, all glass and steel and breathtaking views. But I barely notice the luxury. I'm too focused on Dominic, on the tension radiating from his body. You are safe here, he says. No one can reach you. What about you? Are you safe? He smiles, but there is no warmth in it. I have survived. Worse than this. That does not answer my question. I know. He moves to the window, looking out at the city below. For a long moment, neither of us speaks. Then, without turning around, he begins to talk. My family has been in certain businesses for generations. When my mother died, my grandmother wanted me to leave to start fresh somewhere clean. But I was angry. I wanted revenge against the world that had taken her from me. So I stayed. I learned. I rose. The Mafia, I whisper. I have thought the word before, but this is the first time I have spoken it aloud. That is one name for it. There are others. What matters is that I am powerful, and power makes enemies. Tonight, one of those enemies decided to send a message. What kind of message? He turns to face me. The kind that says they know about you. The words hit me like a physical blow. I take a step back, my hand finding the wall for support. Me? Why would anyone care about me? Because I care about you, and in my world that makes you valuable. I think of the gala, the invisible woman standing on the terrace. I think of the rose on my desk, the dinners and conversations and small moments of connection. I think of how carefully, how deliberately this man has pursued me. Did you know this would happen? I knew it was possible. I hoped I would have more time. Time for what? To show you who I am. To let you decide for yourself whether I am worth the risk. I stare at him, this man who has turned my life upside down in a matter of weeks. I should be angry. I should demand answers, explanations, assurances that he will protect me from the chaos he has brought into my world. But anger is not what I feel. What I feel is something far more dangerous. I already decided, I say quietly. That first night on the terrace, something in me recognized something in you. I did not understand it then. I am not sure I understand it now, but I know that whatever this is, I am not ready to walk away from it. Dominic crosses the room in 3 strides. He takes my face in his hands, his eyes searching mine for doubt, for fear, for anything that might suggest I do not mean what I say. He must not find it, because the next thing I know, his lips are on mine. The kiss is not gentle. It is fierce, desperate, full of everything neither of us has been able to say. I grip his shoulders and pull him closer, wanting more, needing him. When we finally break apart, we are both breathing hard. He rests his forehead against mine, his hands still cradling my face. I will protect you, he says, no matter what it costs, no matter what I have to do. You are mine now, Eleanor, and I do not let go of what is mine. The possessiveness in his voice should frighten me. Instead, it makes me feel safe in a way I have never felt before. Then do not let go, I whisper, and he does not. The next few weeks exist in a strange suspension between 2 worlds. There is the life I had before, the job and the apartment, and the quiet routine of surviving alone. And there is the life I am building with Dominic, full of luxury and danger and emotions I am still learning to name. I continue working at the foundation, though I know it cannot last. Patricia has begun noticing my distraction, the way I check my phone between meetings, the way I leave promptly at 5 instead of staying late. She does not say anything directly, but I feel her disapproval like a cold wind. Dominic insists on security. 2 men now accompany me everywhere, discreet but ever present. They wait outside my office, drive me to and from work, and stand watch outside my apartment at night. I should resent the intrusion, but I have come to appreciate their silent protection. The situation with Dominic's enemies remains tense. He does not share details with me, saying he prefers to keep business and personal matters separate. But I see the toll it takes on him. The late nights, the whispered phone calls, the way his shoulders carry a weight that seems to grow heavier each day. One evening, I am at his penthouse when he receives a call that makes his face go pale. He listens without speaking, then hangs up and turns to me with an expression I have never seen before. "I need to leave the city for a few days," he says. "Business that cannot be handled remotely." What kind of business? The kind I cannot tell you about, not yet. I want to argue, to demand transparency, but I can see the strain in his eyes. Whatever this is, it is serious, and pushing him now will only make things worse. "Be careful," I say instead. He crosses the room and pulls me into his arms, holding me tightly. "I will come back to you, I promise." "You had better." He kisses me, slow and deep, as if memorizing the feel of my lips. Then he is gone, and I am left alone in his vast apartment, surrounded by luxury but feeling emptier than I have in months. The days that follow are the longest of my life. Dominic texts when he can, brief messages that tell me nothing and everything. "I am safe. I am thinking of you. Soon." I throw myself into work, trying to fill the hours with something productive. The foundation is planning a new initiative, a scholarship program for underprivileged students, and I volunteer to lead the outreach efforts. It gives me purpose, a reason to get out of bed in the morning. But at night, alone in my apartment, the worry returns. I imagine 1,000 scenarios, each worse than the last. What if something happens to him? What if he does not come back? On the 4th day, I receive a call from an unknown number. When I answer, the voice on the other end is not Dominic's. "Miss Price, we have not met, but I know a great deal about you." The voice is cold, smooth, with an accent that reminds me of Dominic's, but where his accent is warm, this one is sharp, dangerous. Who is this? A friend of Dominic's, or perhaps a former friend. These things are complicated. My hand tightens on the phone. "What do you want?" "Only to introduce myself. My name is Victor Moretti. Dominic and I have a long history together, though I suspect he has not told you about me." "He has not told me about a lot of things." "No, I imagine not. Dominic has always been selective about what he shares. It is one of his more frustrating qualities." I should hang up. I should call Dominic's security team and report this conversation. But something keeps me listening, a need to understand that overrides my fear. "Why are you calling me?" "Because I want you to know what you have gotten yourself into, Miss Price. Dominic is not the man he pretends to be. He has done terrible things in pursuit of power, things that would make you run if you knew the truth." Everyone has a past. True, but not everyone's past includes eliminating rivals, destroying families, building an empire on the suffering of others. Dominic may wear expensive suits and speak of love, but underneath, he is a predator. And predators do not change. They simply find new prey. The words are designed to wound, and they succeed. I think of Dominic's gentle touches, his whispered promises, the way he makes me feel cherished and safe. Can that same man be capable of the horrors this stranger describes? "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I believe you deserve the truth, and because Dominic has something that belongs to me, something I intend to reclaim." "What could he possibly have that belongs to you?" Victor laughs, a sound devoid of warmth. Ask him about the Corsetti fortune. Ask him what really happened to my brother. Then you will understand. The line goes dead. I stand frozen in my apartment, the phone still pressed to my ear. My mind races through everything Victor has said, trying to separate truth from manipulation. He is clearly an enemy, someone who wants to hurt Dominic. But what if his accusations are based on fact? What if the man I have fallen for is truly capable of terrible things? I cannot answer these questions alone. I need to speak to Dominic, but Dominic is not here, and until he returns I am left with nothing but doubt. That night I do not sleep. I sit by the window watching the city lights, and I think about everything I know and everything I do not know. I think about the gala, the terrace, the stranger who saw me when no one else did. I think about the rose on my desk, the dinners, the kisses, the feeling of safety in his arms, and I think about what it means to love someone whose world is built on shadows. If you are feeling the weight of this story, if Eleanor's journey has touched something inside you, leave a comment saying, "Love is worth the risk." Let me know you are here, sharing this moment with me. When Dominic returns 5 days later, I can see immediately that something has changed. There is a weariness in his eyes that was not there before, a heaviness in his movements. "It is done," he says when I ask about his trip. "The situation is resolved." Resolved how? He looks at me for a long moment and I see him weighing his words, deciding how much truth I can handle. There were people who wanted to challenge my authority. They have been persuaded to reconsider. Persuaded? Yes. I want to press further, but the memory of Victor's call stops me. If I ask about the Corsetti fortune, about his brother, I will reveal that I have been in contact with Dominic's enemies, and I do not know how he will react to that. Instead, I ask a different question. "Someone called me while you were gone, a man named Victor Moretti." Dominic's expression hardens instantly. "What did he say?" "That you have done terrible things, that you are not the man you pretend to be." "And do you believe him?" I take a breath. I do not know what to believe. I only know what I have experienced with you, and that has been... what? Overwhelming, confusing, beautiful. Some of the tension leaves his shoulders. He crosses the room and takes my hands in his. "Victor is my cousin. We grew up together, trained together, were supposed to inherit together. But when the time came to choose a leader, the family chose me. Victor has never forgiven that. He blames me for everything that has gone wrong in his life. He said you destroyed his brother." Dominic's jaw tightens. "His brother Marco tried to take control of the organization by force. He threatened the lives of everyone I cared about. I did what I had to do to protect my people." What does that mean? It means Marco is no longer a threat, and it means Victor has spent the last 5 years trying to destroy me in revenge. I search his face for deception, for the monster Victor described, but all I see is a man carrying an impossible weight, making impossible choices in a world that offers no easy answers. "Why did you not tell me about this before?" "Because I wanted you to know me first, the real me, not the version twisted by my enemies." "And who is the real you?" He lifts my hands to his lips and kisses my knuckles, just as he did that first night outside my apartment. A man who has done difficult things, a man who has made mistakes, but also a man who would burn down the entire world to keep you safe. That is who I am, Eleanor. The rest is just noise. I want to believe him. I want to trust that the love I feel is not misplaced, that the man I am falling for is worthy of that fall. But trust is not something that can be given. It must be built piece by piece, through actions and time. "Then show me," I say. "Show me who you are." And he does. The weeks that follow are an education. Dominic opens his world to me in ways I never expected, showing me the legitimate businesses he runs alongside the darker operations. Real estate developments that transform forgotten neighborhoods into thriving communities. Import companies that bring goods from around the world. Investment firms that fund startups and create jobs. Not Everything I do is illegal, he explains during a tour of one of his construction sites. Most of it, in fact, is completely legitimate. The other parts are necessary. For now. For now? I am working towards something, Eleanor. A future where my family does not need the old ways to survive. But transitions like that take time. They require patience, planning, and sometimes difficult compromises. I begin to understand the complexity of his position. He is not simply a criminal or a businessman. He is a man caught between two worlds, trying to navigate a path that honors his past while building a different future, and he wants me to be part of that future. I never expected to find someone like you, he tells me one night as we lie together, watching the city lights through the penthouse windows. I had accepted that my life would be solitary, that the woman who could understand my world did not exist. Maybe she does not understand everything. Maybe she is still learning. That is enough. More than enough. His hand finds mine in the darkness, fingers intertwining. I feel the roughness of his palms, the scars that tell stories he has not yet shared. And I realize that I am no longer afraid of those stories. I want to hear them all. But peace, I am learning, is fragile in Dominic's world, and it shatters without warning. It happens on a Tuesday. I am at the foundation reviewing applications for the new scholarship program when Patricia calls me into her office. Eleanor, we need to talk. Her expression is carefully neutral, but I have worked for her long enough to recognize the tension beneath the surface. Of course. What is this about? I have received some information about your personal life. My stomach drops. What kind of information? Questions have been raised about your associations, specifically your relationship with a man named Dominic Valenti. Dominic's family name. I have heard him use it rarely, preferring just his. First name in most situations, but someone has been digging. I do not see how my personal relationships are relevant to my work here. Normally they would not be, but the Hartwell Foundation depends on its reputation. We cannot afford to be associated with certain elements. Patricia shifts uncomfortably. I have been shown evidence suggesting that Mr. Valenti is connected to organized criminal activities. If this is true, your continued employment here could pose a risk to the Foundation's standing. I feel the walls closing in around me. Everything I have worked for, the career I built from nothing, the respectability I struggled to achieve, all of it threatened by my choice to love the wrong man. Who showed you this evidence? I am not at liberty to say. But I already know. Victor Moretti. He is not content to attack Dominic directly. He is coming after everyone and everything Dominic cares about. I need time to address this, I say, keeping my voice steady through sheer force of will. Can you give me until the end of the week? Patricia considers for a moment, then nods. Until Friday. But Eleanor, if you cannot resolve this situation, I will have to let you go. I hope you understand. I understand perfectly. I return to my desk and gather my things with mechanical precision. Jennifer watches me with concern, but does not ask questions. I do not offer explanations. When I reach the street, I call Dominic's private line. Eleanor, what is wrong? We need to talk now. An hour later, I am in his office, pacing the length of the room while he listens to my account of the conversation with Patricia. When I finish, his expression is thunderous. Victor, this has his fingerprints all over it. He is trying to isolate me, cut me off from my normal life so I have nowhere to go but to him. That will not happen. How can you be sure? Dominic rises from his chair and crosses to where I am standing. He takes my shoulders in his, hands forcing me to meet his eyes. Because I will not let it happen. Victor has overplayed his hand. He thinks attacking you will weaken me, but he does not understand what you mean to me. He does not understand that I will burn his entire operation to the ground before I allow him to harm a single hair on your head. The intensity in his voice is almost frightening, but beneath the fire, I see something else. Fear. He is afraid of losing me, just as I am afraid of losing everything I have built. What are you going to do? What I should have done years ago, end this, permanently. Over the next 3 days, I watch Dominic transform. The tender man who brought me coffee and kissed my forehead disappears, replaced by something harder, colder, more focused. He spends hours in meetings with men I do not recognize, speaking in rapid Italian, making plans I am not privy to. I want to help, but he refuses. This is my fight, Eleanor. I brought this danger into your life, and I will. Remove it. All I ask is that you trust me. So I trust him. And I wait. On Thursday night, Dominic comes to my apartment. He looks exhausted, dark circles beneath his eyes, his jaw tight with tension. But when he sees me, something in him softens. "It is almost over," he says. "Tomorrow this will end." "What is happening tomorrow?" "A meeting. Victor and I will finally settle our differences." "Is it dangerous?" He hesitates, and I know the answer before he speaks. "There is always risk, but I have taken precautions. My people are prepared." "Let me come with you." "Absolutely not." "Dominic, I cannot sit here and wait while you walk into danger. I need to be there. I need to know you are safe." "The best way to keep you safe is to keep you far away from where Victor can reach you. I am not asking for your permission, I'm telling you what I need." We stare at each other, two stubborn people refusing to yield. Finally, Dominic sighs. "You are the most frustrating woman I have ever met." I will take that as a compliment. "You would." He pulls me into his arms and holds me tightly. I can feel his heart beating against my cheek, strong and steady despite the chaos swirling around us. "If I bring you," he says slowly, "you will do exactly as I say. You will stay where I put you, and if I tell you to run, you will run. No arguments, no heroics. Do you understand?" "Yes." "Promise me, Eleanor." "I promise." He pulls back and looks into my eyes, searching for any sign of deception. Whatever he sees must satisfy him, because he nods slowly. Then we face this together. The meeting takes place in an abandoned warehouse on the waterfront, a location chosen for its neutrality and isolation. As our car approaches, I can see other vehicles already parked nearby, men in dark suits positioned around the perimeter. Dominic holds my hand tightly as we walk through the doors. Inside, the warehouse is vast and empty, lit by industrial lights that cast harsh shadows across the concrete floor. In the center of the space, a single table has been set up with two chairs facing each other. Victor Moretti is already waiting. He is tall like Dominic, with similar features that speak to their shared blood. But where Dominic's eyes are gray and warm, Victor's are ice blue and completely devoid of feeling. "Cousin," Victor says, rising from his chair, "and the lovely Miss Price. I did not expect you to bring her. Eleanor is part of my life now. She has a right to witness. What happens here?" Victor smiles, and it is not a pleasant expression. "How romantic. Tell me, Miss Price, did Dominic explain to you why we are really here? Did he tell you about the empire built on betrayal? About the blood on his hands?" "He told me the truth," I say, keeping my voice steady. "Which is more than you have ever offered." Victor's eyes narrow. "The truth. An interesting concept. Let us see if your precious Dominic is willing to share the whole truth." He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a folder, tossing it onto the table between them. "There. The evidence of everything you have done. Every deal, every elimination, every family destroyed. I wonder how your girlfriend will feel when she sees it all laid bare." Dominic does not flinch. "I have never hidden what I am, Victor. The difference between us is that I take responsibility for my choices. You hide behind grievance and blame everyone else for your failures." "My failures? You took everything from me. The position that should have been mine, the resources, the respect. And then you eliminated my brother when he tried to take it back. Marco made his choice. He chose violence, and violence is what he received." The tension in the room is unbearable. Men on both sides shift nervously, hands moving toward concealed weapons. I can feel the situation balancing on a knife's edge. Then Victor laughs. "You know what I find fascinating? After everything, you still think you can control this. You still think you are the hero of this story. He shakes his head slowly. But you are not. You are just another monster, Dominic, and monsters eventually get what they deserve. He snaps his fingers, and suddenly the warehouse is full of movement. Men emerge from the shadows more than I expected, surrounding us on all sides. Dominic's men react immediately, drawing weapons, but they are outnumbered. "Did you really think I would come here to negotiate?" Victor asks. "This was never about talking. This was about ending your reign once and for all." Dominic pushes me behind him, shielding me with his body. "Eleanor, when I say run, you run. Remember your promise. I am not leaving you. You are not dying for me either." The standoff lasts an eternity that is probably only seconds. I can hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears, can feel the terror clawing at my chest. This is it. This is how it ends. And then the doors burst open. Men in tactical gear swarm into the warehouse, moving with military precision. They are not Dominic's people, and they are not Victor's. They are something else entirely. "FBI, everyone on the ground!" The chaos that follows is a blur of shouting and movement. Victor's men scatter, some surrendering, others trying to flee. Dominic pulls me down behind the table, covering me as agents sweep through the building. When it is finally over, I look up to see Victor Moretti in handcuffs, being led toward a waiting vehicle. His face is a mask of fury and disbelief. "What is happening?" I whisper. Dominic helps me to my feet. His expression is complex, relief mixed with something I cannot quite identify. "I made a deal," he says quietly. "Weeks ago, when I knew Victor would never stop until one of us was destroyed, I reached out to certain contacts in law enforcement, offered them Victor and his operation in exchange for protection for you and a chance to transition my business into fully legitimate channels. You turned him in? It was the only way to end this without more violence. Victor would have kept coming, kept threatening everyone I care about. This way, he goes away for a very long time, and I get to build the future I have been working toward." I stare at him, this man who has surprised me at every turn, this man who chose peace over power, love over dominance, the future over the past. "You did this for me? I did this for us, for the life we could have together, the life I want more than anything." Tears stream down my face. I do not try to stop them. I throw my arms around him and hold on as if he might disappear. "I love you," I whisper against his chest. "I love you, Dominic." His arms tighten around me. "I love you too, Eleanor, more than I ever thought possible." Outside, the night is cold and full of flashing lights and official voices, but in this moment, wrapped in each other's arms, we are warm, we are safe, we are finally, truly home. 6 months later, spring has arrived in the city, transforming the grey streets into avenues lined with cherry blossoms. I walk through Central Park with Dominic beside me, Darcy on a leash between us, protesting the indignity of being forced to exercise. So much has changed since that night in the warehouse. Victor is awaiting trial, his criminal empire dismantled by federal prosecutors. Dominic has kept his promise, transitioning his remaining businesses into legitimate operations, working with authorities to ensure everything is above board. It has not been easy. Old associates have turned their backs on him. New partnerships have been slow to form, but he approaches each challenge with the same determination that first drew me to him. As for me, I left the foundation 2 months after the confrontation with Patricia, not because I was fired, but because I chose to leave. Dominic helped me start my own non-profit, focusing on educational opportunities for children from difficult backgrounds. We call it the Second Chance Foundation, and it is the most meaningful work I have ever done. "You are quiet today," Dominic observes as we find a bench overlooking the lake. "I am thinking about how different my life is now compared to a year ago. Different good or different bad?" I turn to look at him, this man who has become my partner, my protector, my home. Different, amazing. He smiles, and it still transforms his face. The hardness that once defined him has softened over these months, replaced by something warmer. He is still powerful, still formidable when necessary, but he is also gentle, patient, and endlessly devoted. "I have something for you," he says, reaching into his jacket pocket. My heart skips. "Dominic, do not panic. It is not a ring." He pauses, his smile widening. "Not yet." He pulls out a small velvet box and opens it to reveal a delicate pendant. A silver butterfly, its wings set with tiny diamonds that catch the spring sunlight. "A butterfly," I whisper. "You emerged from your cocoon, Eleanor. You transformed from someone who felt invisible into someone who commands attention simply by existing. This is to remind you of how far you have come." Tears prick at my eyes as he fastens the chain around my neck. I touch the pendant gently, feeling its weight against my collarbone. "It is beautiful, not as beautiful as you." I lean in and kiss him, slow and sweet, not caring who might be watching. We are past hiding, past pretending to be anything other than what we are, two people who found each other against impossible odds and built something real from the wreckage of their pasts. When we break apart, Dominic takes my hand in his. "There is something else I want to discuss." "More surprises?" In a manner of speaking, I have been thinking about the future, our future. My heart races. "What about it?" "I want to build a family with you, Eleanor. Not tomorrow, not next month, but someday. I want children who will never know the world I came from. I want a home filled with laughter and love and all the things neither of us had growing up." "Dominic, you do not have to answer now. I just want you to know what I am hoping for, what I am working toward. Every legitimate deal, every honest partnership. It is all for that future, for us." I squeeze his hand tightly. "I want that too. I have wanted it since the night you told me I deserve to take up space. You gave me permission to dream again, Dominic. And in my dreams, you are always there." He pulls me close, wrapping his arm around my shoulders as we watch the boats drift across the lake. Darcy has given up protesting and fallen asleep at our feet, a small furry testament to the domestic peace we have found. "Do you remember the gala?" Dominic asks. "The night we met?" "Of course." "I watched you for an hour before I approached. I saw how they treated you, how they looked through you as if you were nothing. And I watched you handle it with such grace, such quiet dignity. I knew then that you were different, that you were someone worth knowing. You saw something in me that I could not see in myself. I only showed you what was always there." We sit in comfortable silence, letting the afternoon unfold around us. Joggers pass by, families spread picnic blankets on the grass, children chase squirrels through the trees. Ordinary life, ordinary moments, extraordinary because we are sharing them together. "Thank you," I say quietly. "For what?" "For watching, for waiting, for being brave, enough to approach a woman standing alone on a terrace. Thank you for being brave enough to say yes." I think about everything we have been through, the fear and uncertainty, the danger and revelations, the moments when I wondered if I was making the biggest mistake of my life. I think about how close we came to losing each other, how many obstacles stood in our way, and I think about how none of it matters now, because we are here, we are together, we are building something beautiful from the ashes of our broken pasts. Treated as invisible at the gala, I walked away with grace. I did not know then that someone was watching, that my life was about to change in ways I could never have imagined. But now I know. Now I understand that sometimes the greatest loves begin in the most unexpected moments. That being seen by the right person can transform everything. That grace under pressure is not weakness, but strength. And that home is not a place. Home is a person who chooses you, protects you and loves you exactly as you are. I have found my home, and I am never letting go. If you have watched this far, it is because you liked this story. Leave a comment saying, "I watched this far so I can get to know you and see who really enjoys the stories here on the channel." And if this story touched your heart, Please give it a like and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Your support means everything and helps us create more stories that remind you that love, grace, and second chances are always possible. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing in the power of love to transform even the darkest nights into beautiful dawns.